Hey, Bolo buddies, thanks for watching. All right, so the other night it was kind of late, and I was like, I'm gonna search Bolos for like crafty type items because knew I was going to an estate sale that had like a sewing room and a room full of like what do you like crochet and that type of stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna search craft solds before I go, just so I have an idea of maybe some things to be on the lookout for because it's not really my specialty area. I don't know much about it. So I decided to make a video, and there are tons of bolos. So um, stay tuned. And I think you guys are going to be surprised at what some of this stuff is selling for. I did end up buying some stuff, and I did not do a haul video. I don't know why I didn't do a haul video because I got some cool stuff, but I didn't. So as those things sell, I will keep you guys posted when I have some bolos. Um, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that. And we are going to get started here. All right, the first item are these Christmas ornament type embellishment crafts. So they're just little craft things like beads, things you can make Christmas ornaments with, I guess. And the sale I went to had tons of these. And I probably should have bought them, but I did not remember this one. And I feel like this could go either way, you know? It's like, yes, it's a bolo for this person, but did the person get lucky? It only had 3 bids. So I don't know, but it sold for $69.89. The next item is these leather working stamps, and this one comes in the wood box. And you can see that this sold for $1,310 with 42 bids. Okay, I was on the wrong spot. So I'm going to work on some of these higher things that are probably unlikely to be found, but these people found them, and I just want to show you what they look like just in case, okay? So this is an embroidery machine, and this sold for $1,810. I mean, I'm sure that maybe we could find this at an estate sale. I'm not going to rule it out. So I'm going to know what to look for. Pretty cool. This is a vintage glass blowing tool. How cool is that? Pretty neat. This sold for $573 with 41 bids. Okay, so this is a Bucilla, I believe is how it's pronounced. It's an applique quilt top kit. Okay, and you can see it's got the patterns, and then it also looks like it comes with the quilting material. It's used, so maybe it's been partially, I don't know, partially, let's see if it says. This kit comes stamped, white. One vase has been cut and basted onto the top. So it looks like this is the only one. 16 bids, $553 this sold for. And it's been used, been started. Awesome. This sewing machine, it's an 830 electric sewing machine in case, Bernina, Bernina. Pretty cool. This sold for $281.55. Okay, so on the paperwork, it said that there were these hoops. And I'm like, oh, come on, let them have a queen hoop. None of them at the sale. The sale I went to were queens, unfortunately. But this is what it looks like, guys. It's got this special little, I don't know, circle gear type thing on the end. And they say queen. These hoops sold for $356. Awesome. Here's just a vintage, it's a panther patch, sew-on patch. I have no idea why I went for $353.11. I mean, it says this vintage Black Panther. Not sure what it is from, but it does look cool. So they don't know either. Might be a Jaguar. I have no clue. Does anybody know why this went for so much money? I put in automatic bids. I mean, these are, the person who won it has 16,208 feedback. So I'm wondering if there's something to this that I don't know about, and maybe the seller didn't know about, because that is amazing. And it doesn't even really look, it looks, I mean, that's doesn't look like a panther to me. I mean, it's weird. It kind of looks like a reptile tongue. I don't know. Anyway, anybody know? Comment below if you do. The next one, Shellcraft Latch Hook Rug Kit. You can see here, it looks like it's been opened. This is to make a rug. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. This sold for $335 with 7 bids. Open kit, picked up at an estate sale, appears complete. 7 bids. Let's see what they started the auction out at. $199.99. So they knew that they had something pretty cool. Sewing patterns. We've talked about these before. This is for 20 patterns. See here. I'm sure you know the content of, or the types, I guess, of patterns makes a difference. These sold for $306.65 with 12 bids plus shipping. Okay, so these are feed sacks, and I saw some feed sacks at this sale, but they weren't pretty. They were just like blah, so I didn't get them. And actually, I don't know. These don't really look like what I saw, so maybe I'm confused. I thought it said feed sacks at the sale, like on the paperwork or like on the box. Anyway, the ones I saw seemed to be more like of a feed sack material. These almost look like just cotton. So I don't know. I must be confused. Or there must be 2 different types of things. The next one, I just wanted to show you that these hoops are not a joke. This is a real thing. And let's see. These are the queen also. These sold for $304 with 19 bids. Soft pastels, 97 of 108. So this is used. It's missing colors. Some of them are only like halfway there. They're halfway used, I guess I should say. And these sold for $285 with 31 bids. I've talked about the flocked fabric in my other videos, but in case you didn't see that video, I wanted to share it again. And flocked, I do believe, is like the material is slightly raised. At the sale I went to, I was like looking at the material. I didn't see any that was flocked, unfortunately, because I know it's a big money maker. This sold for $283 with 41 bids. Okay, this is a Osborne leather tool. It's antique. It says vintage, I know nothing. I mean, doesn't get more honest than that. I know nothing about this tool or the many other leather tools I'm listing. To see my other auctions, all starting low with no reserve, as I have no idea what they're worth. You know, I will say that sometimes I feel like that. Like I have searched, I have looked on eBay, I've taken a picture of it, I've tried to find it in Google Images, and I just can't find it. And I'm like, you know what? It's very frustrating. So I'm just going to list it and hope for the best. You know, but it is hard when you don't know how to describe an item in the title. But this sold for $280. So they did pretty good, even though they put I know nothing in the title. So I kind of love it. Would I recommend it? Probably not, but it's kind of cool. Okay, so we have this partly started vintage Shellcraft latch hook rug. Again, another big one, $249.99 with 1 bid. And it looks to be, says used, but I'm guessing maybe it's just old. It looks to be like it hasn't been started or anything. What's that say? I want to see. Wonder what these retail for. Oh, wow. So new, this was $201.60. So these are not cheap. And it went for $249. So kind of cool to actually see what it was from the actual company. Vintage, excuse me, vintage Gumbrocker soft pastel set. So again, it's more pastels. These look a little more complete. It looks like it's missing one. But this sold for $236 with 28 bids. Glass jewels, stained glass windows. Here you go, guys. This is what it looks like. These sold for $255 with 18 bids. The next one here are vintage cross-stitch unused kits. And these sold for $260, and there were 16 of them there. So that's pretty good. Some of the cross-stitch kits can go for big money. Here's another one. It's a Bucilla quilt top kit, poppy bouquet, and this one sold for $236.50. My husband actually brought home a tablecloth, vintage Bucilla tablecloth. And he's like, hey, I picked this up. I know this was on one of your BOLO videos. And I'm like, I think it's a good one. So I don't think it's huge. I think he'll probably get 40, 50 bucks out of it. Maybe more if he holds out and waits for the right buyer. But definitely, I think he paid a quarter for it. So. Okay, so this is like thread or floss, which is super, super cool. It's just amazing. It's just floss, guys. It's a super cool bolo. And you can, I'm trying to see, here we go. So they come in these these look older. Yeah, they're vintage and they're silk. Here's the little drawers. That's cool. Anyway, these sold for $227.52. The next one is this. These are just various lace trims, and they did have some of this at the sale I went to. But I was trying to buy stuff by the box just because I didn't have time to look through it. I only had a couple hours to shop, and the lady didn't want to sell by the box yet, which is completely fine and completely understandable. But I didn't have time to pick through it, so I just passed on a bunch of stuff. So I may go back on Sunday. I'm not sure. Haven't decided. I don't know if it's worth it. But this sold for $219.50. And, these are way prettier than the ones that they had. And I don't know if the ones she had was as old. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. And just because this sold for $219 doesn't mean I'll go back and get it and mine will sell for that much. Here's some more flocked fabric. You can see like the little flowers are kind of raised. It's sold for $209.50. Vintage Walt Disney pajama fabric panel, 2 yards. This sold for $205.38 with 14 bids. Coloring set pencil by number. This is cool. So it's a vintage coloring set and pencil color by number. And this sold for $203.61. Now that is awesome. All right, this is a completed needlepoint. Okay, so you can see this is complete. It's not a craft for someone to do. This is done, and it sold for $202.50. Paintbrushes, vintage artist paintbrushes. I know that my husband went to a sale, and it's been a while back, probably maybe even a year ago, but there was an artist that, I don't know if it was like he was no longer doing it or if he passed away. I'm not really sure, but it was an estate sale but typically estate sales are for people who have passed, but every once in a while, the estate sale holders that have the estate sales near us will do moving sales also. So I'm not sure which it was, but these sold for $202.50 with 21 bids. Had I known then what I know now, I may have had my husband look at the paintbrushes. Okay, so rubber stamps. There's 45 here, and these, I think I posted this one in my Facebook group. Again, if you're not a member, definitely check it out down below. But these sold for $192.16. More floss. That is a ton. Oh my gosh. That's a lot. And that sold for $192.50. I've sold some of this in the past, but nowhere near as much as that. Okay, this one is super cool. So this is a kitty cat fabric material pillow panel cut and sew. This sold for $192.50. And I'm telling you, I saw a bunch of these that have high sold. So this must be something that people really, really want. So be on the lookout, guys, for this cat right here. This pink cat. It's a bolo. All right, more wood carving tools. These went for $177.50. The cat, again, $180. I'm telling you, I saw a bunch of them. I did put a couple in here because I was like, I just want to show you that this is definitely a BOLO. This is not a fluke. So this is a bedspread, and it's Chanel stripe fabric. It says bedspread, pillows, crafts, 5 yards. So it's somebody selling like a bedspread so that somebody who does arts and crafts can buy it. This sold for $146.45, 35 bids. Okay, I have no clue what this is. It's chalk couture. This is another one that I kept seeing a lot of high solds for. Chalk couture. That's what you're looking for, guys. I don't know if it tells down here. I don't know. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. There's only one picture, but be on the lookout for chalk couture. Ribbon, vintage ribbon. This is 90 yards, it says. And you can see here what they look like. This sold for $156.03. These are vintage quilt blocks. So these are already completed and have been done by someone. These are butterflies. These sold for $155.26. Tubes of acrylic paint. Oil paint. There you go. That's what it looks like, guys. This is vintage, so I don't know how paint works, if it starts to get yucky or not, but it looks like there's some other stuff included in this lot. But this went for $151, 14 bids. More vintage ribbon, or it's called seam binding, I should say, 45 rolls. It says old and new. So there you have it. I don't know, $125. I'm shocked it went for that much. They started it at $99, and the feedback from the people buying it is high, so looks like a good one. That's another thing I passed on. I tried to buy all of it because I didn't want to mess with going through it, but I don't know if it was rayon or what. I don't know enough about it, so I did not end up getting it because they would not sell me the box. So again, I might go back. I don't know. Puffy stickers from the 1980s. These sold for $136.50. There's 80 sheets, it looks like. Scratch and sniff are another good one. Here you go. Oh, there's one that smells like a skunk. These are not even complete sheets. Some of them have been used. There's not that many there, really. I mean, look. $130. Crazy. Sewing machine shuttle and bobbin lot. You can see this is what they look like. I actually posted one of these in my Facebook group saying, hey, does anybody know what this is? And somebody said it was for a sewing machine. And then I found this listing after I posted it, and I'm like, oh, that's what it looks like. So I don't know if they have value individually or if they just have value as a whole, but these sold for $135. So I'm definitely going to have my husband look that up. Aluminum crochet hooks. Boyle, Susan Bates, Hero. Again, I think, some of these are hit or miss. I don't know what makes some more valuable than others, but this is a lot of 11 and they sold for $129. Artist dry paint, high quality, 17 jars, and these are very vintage looking. They sold for $105.50 with 28 bids. Here are more quilt squares that are already completed that you just need to put into your quilt. $111, 21 bids. 6 skeins of discontinued sweater bundle. Here's what it looks like. Madeline and Tosh. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see the label. Sold for $110 with 13 bids. Singer pinking attachment. That's what it looks like, and this is what the tool looks like that's inside of it. This sold for $103.50, 15 bids. Sunset stitchery. So these are think there is it needlework type things. You can see here. The stocking is probably the one that increased the value of this. The stockings are a good bolo, but this sold for $102.50. Here is more of that chalk couture. So I don't know if these are like transfers or I don't know what they're. It's like a sticker type thing. Again, if you know, let me know. Tandy leather vintage purse kit. So this is like, you can make a purse, it looks like. That's kind of cool. 26 bids, sold for $90. I just saw some of these this weekend and I forgot about this one. Oh, man. They didn't have prices on them. Oh, I'm kind of kicking myself right now, but I don't know if this, again, depends on the brand. The ones that they had looked a lot more vintage and they were not they weren't as nice as these. But these sold for $81. Maybe if I go back. Lil Missy beaded doll kit. This sold for $91 with 23 bids. Busilla Christmas stocking sold for $85.08 with 19 bids. Another good one. I got a Snoopy one that I think is going to do well. These are felt jeweled sequin ornament kits. Busilla, again, I think that's how you pronounce it. Busilla, Bucilla, sold for $86 with 13 bids. This is cool. These are rainbow sticker unicorns, and there's 190 stickers in this roll. So you can see it's a decent sized roll, but it's not like huge, it's not like, I don't know. It's good, but sold for $76. This is a leather stamp tool, 3D, and it's, I think it's just one stamp, guys. And it sold for $76. The Loom. In the original Loom box. And this looks to be like, I don't want to say unused, but it looks pretty good. This sold for $66. Plus shipping. And this is the first one I showed you guys. I was at the back instead of the front, so sorry about that. But this concludes the craft video, and I will do another one in these down the road probably, just because there's so many of them and they're always, changing. That's the thing with bolos, is the market is always changing, supply and demand. And also, like, things come into the like trend, like maybe sequins are real popular, so everybody wants sequins, or vintage stickers. So things go in and out of popularity of what people are wanting at the time. So just because it's a bolo now doesn't mean it's going to be a bolo 6 months from now or a year from now. So definitely always do your research. Just like this person might have got lucky. Somebody else may have only sold this for $20. They started the auction a little bit high, so there was no loss for them. So they did pretty good, I think. So definitely do your research when you're pricing things, and do your research before you buy things. Just because you saw it on this video does not mean it's going to be a bolo every time. So research. And thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and have an awesome day.